I think there are two kinds of mechanisms in pop-up cards and books, the box fold and the V-fold. I'd like to show you how to make box folds. Start off with a piece of A4 paper or card. This is card, and we fold it. We may decide to fold it lengthwise, more about that later. And I try and get pupils to take care with their folding and to make a really sharp fold by rubbing the fold with their fingernail or with the handle of a pair of scissors. And I also talk about my three rules with pop-ups. The first rule is that when you cut, you nearly always cut into the folded edge. So we're going to cut straight up. It may be that you cut in curved lines or zigzag lines, but we're starting off with a simple design. And we now come to the second rule of making and designing and making pop-ups. When you cut into the folded edge, you nearly always stop before you get halfway across. That is to ensure that when the pop-up card or book is folded, that the moving parts don't stick out beyond the edge of the card. Most pop-up cards you want it to be a surprise what happens. And then we carry on cutting across here. It would be nice to end up with an odd number of strips, but when we're learning, starting off like this, it doesn't matter if you have an even number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. The reason I've done so many is that I try and encourage pupils to develop their motor skills and develop their scissor skills and learn how to fold effectively as well. So we now start to fold up these strips and fold them straight across as far as they're cut, like this. Because we're learning, we've cut them all the same length. Later on you may want to have different lengths, and again we fold, really make those folds sharp with a pair of scissors by really rubbing hard. And we now come to the third rule of pop-ups. Whenever you make a fold, you nearly always double fold to make it really flexible. So we don't not only fold it one way, we fold it back on itself the other way. So we fold them all back the other way as well. This is to get a really flexible fold. This is to make sure that the pop-up mechanism works really well. And then we return all of these box folds back. Looks like a bit like a comb. We then open up the card to a valley. In paper technology we would call that a valley fold and that a mountain fold. And we start to pop up. In pop-ups we turn a valley into a mountain or a mountain back into a valley. I'm going to leave the margin and pop up the first one, pinch it, leave that one, and I'm going to pop up alternate strips like that. We then close the whole card and squash it on the table, and you end up with a kind of a sort of an E shape, but not really. And then when you open up the card, you've got a simple moving mechanism there, and it shows up even better if you back that onto a contrasting colour. So if you fit that inside another piece of card, I mean, that's quite appealing as it is. This could be stuck down. If you do stick the two bits together, obviously do not put any glue near the parts that move, and you see that it all disappears when the card is closed. But I think that that's a point now where we can be creative and think of what we could make this do. We could just have one pop up in the middle and use that to make something stand up. Here I've got my pop-up book of my favourite tropical fish, and when you open it up you've got each tropical fish. And all I've done here is I've just glued lots of pop-up cards back to back to make a book. A pop-up book is in effect lots of pop-up cards glued back to back, and you can see how that works. That's a very simple application of the box fold. If you have lots of strips, it could be perhaps a queue of people, it could be a card with the members of your family. I've got some more ideas here. Here we have the solar system. So I've made this with a black card, folded lengthways this time. But instead of having regular strips, I've tried to space them out to try to show the relative positions of the planets. Of course, it's not to scale. This is a quite old one. I made this several years ago, and it features Pluto, which most people now think is not a planet. But there we are. I'll leave you to debate that. So that's a solar system. We've got a football team here, my particular favourite team, and we've got 11 strips this time, equally spaced with all the members of the Charlton football team. I'm not sure that scoreline will ever come true, but we can dream. Here we've got some Roman soldiers. I scanned and copied these pictures from a book and then copied and pasted them using a computer. So that's an example of how you can use IT to produce pop-up cards, and you can see how they stand up. So I hope I've inspired you to have a go at making your own pop-up cards, and thank you for watching.